Ever wonder what's really behind the headlines? Or why certain theories just won't go away? Dive into the world of the No Name Podcast, your go-to podcast for unraveling the mysteries of conspiracies, politics, and everyday life. Each week, we blend our opinions, analysis, with some storytelling to uncover the hidden layers of our world. From the latest political intrigue to the most fascinating conspiracy theories, we bring you a balanced dose of skepticism and insight. Whether you're a seasoned critical thinker or just curious about the whispers that swirl around us, we offer a space where your questions are welcome, and your mind can wander freely. Tune in, spark your curiosity, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. The No Name Podcast, where every episode is a new chance to think critically and see the world through a different lens. Don't miss out. Subscribe today and join the conversation.
Hey, how y'all doing, everybody? Everybody, they got me introduced today, and welcome to the No Name Podcast. I am Trey.
What's up, everybody? It's Dustin.
Hey, this is Jeremy.
And we're going to have some fun today as we talk about really everything that comes to our heart. I love episodes like this because we have conversations off mic that y'all don't get to hear. And sometimes we have those conversations on mic, like last week was it? Or a couple of weeks ago, we had a 15-minute episode that turned into an hour because we got so excited.
I feel like it was an hour and a half, maybe, but
Yeah, I think it was an hour and a half.
And so today we got a lot of stuff going on, but I think we want to kind of touch on some of the issues, a little hurricane comparison, but I think it's something on my heart. And Jeremy kind of was off camera was talking to us about this, and now it got me thinking and wondering. So it is true that married men tend to live shorter lives than unmarried men or divorced men, right? And then today, this is what the statistics say.
I'm here.
All right. And then today, Jeremy brought to our attention that the Surgeon General of the United States of America said it is pretty much detrimental to your health to be I would say he's focused on married men because obviously we live 7 years shorter. So I think he's more talking to us, but he said people in general to have a family. And as we were talking off and you was sharing some of the things you was going through this, since, this year, and I'm kind of like right behind you. And I tend to believe this. I think there is a conspiracy of sorts to ensure that men specifically are stressed out a little bit more than their counterparts. And I say that if you get rid of men, feminist movement, right? You get rid of men, then what is the dynamic of the family? Who's bringing the discipline? So let's keep men at work longer. Let's raise the cost of things. And then let's see watch this. I'll give you one even better because this hurts our pride. Some dudes are cool with it. Let's make sure that wives can make more money than them.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see what he becomes.
I think you're hitting it right on. They're not only are they, controlling the family dynamic there in that way, but also it's another form of, to me, in my opinion, population control.
Yeah.
You were talking about if they get rid of men, stress us out more, therefore it's going to lead to more heart attacks or whatever. Then, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's population control.
Well, I mean, it's not only that. It's also, like we had talked about before, about how they're trying to start a movement to, get people to not have families.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about population control, then there you go. And if you're talking about just straight up weird control, then let's get rid of dads. Let's keep them at home. But, I think last week when we were doing our Raising a Family in 2024 episode, we were talking about the fact that if you basically just hand your kids off to the schools or the daycare or whatever to raise them all day, then you kind of just take a back seat to, kind of instilling your values and what you want, because they're spending, 7 to 9, sometimes even 10 hours a day with your kid. Because some daycares are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yeah,
so they could be literally spending half of the day.
Right.
And when a kid's sleeping 10 hours a night, they're literally spending 2 hours with you,
Right.
10 hours of sleep, and potentially 12 hours with somebody else. You know, because even like regular schools, like our old elementary school had the option of doing the after school care,
Mm-hmm.
you know, too. So yeah, school ended at 3:30 or whatever it was, but you know, you didn't have to come pick them up till 5:30, 6 o'clock. So if you're kind of handing off your kids the whole time, you know, when are you getting that chance to kind of be a father? You know, especially like you were saying, Trey, you know, if you're being stuck at work because you're trying to make a living to pay for everything, because, I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, woman movement or not, it's pretty much still a man's position
Right.
to provide for the family. And that's where most men stand. You know, if somebody offered to pay my wife to go to work and she said, you be a stay-at-home dad, I'm here for it.
Right.
I got no, I'm saying, I got no pride, no
You can
nothing.
Oprah me any day.
You know, I think kind of like stepping back and you know, stepping back a little bit into what I was saying with the population control as well. If you look at that with you know, the dynamic of families, it also goes back to something that we've talked about before on our show of how they've controlled generations. Okay, so let's just kind of connect the dots a little bit in this. If they've controlled people by changing people's ways of thinking and their mind and everything through every generation, you know, and then now they're doing this with the kids. You know what I mean? With the population control. So they've manipulated this generation now into thinking the way that they want them to think and saying, okay, it's okay if we push in population control.
So
me and
Because
you
they're easing it in there.
Well, me and you started turning this into population control. Where were you going with this?
No.
Yeah,
was that where you were going
It's
with
a
it?
little bit of both. Because
Okay.
so for instance, I'm looking at it over a standpoint of why, like, right. So from a biblical or a church standpoint, you know, Satan doesn't attack the church; he attacks families because families make up the church, right?
Right.
In America, we kind of, I would say that same logic, you know, works. And I was trying to figure out, like, where did this start, right? So watch this. This is the craziest part. It doesn't shock me with this information. Fatherless families didn't become a thing. And this is how crazy. And I'm not saying that it wasn't certain guys in the culture that wouldn't take care of their kids. We know throughout time that might be a thing. But for a standard in America, it didn't become a thing until the 60s and the 70s.
Really?
The 60s and the 70s.
Okay, because we've talked about that before. That's kind of where everything started
to go down.
Started going down.
I don't know if
I had the theory about the 40, 50 years, I think, or 30, 40 years, somewhere in there. And that kind of goes back to that about, you know, the
and I
New
will
World-
say
New World government.
my
and
stance
everything.
on that has changed where now I think that I more so kind of follow that too. I do think it's more so of probably in the 1940s is when I personally feel
I'm
this
really
version.
glad to hear that.
Yeah, I actually do. But now, I mean, that's not me
Really-
saying that I don't think the Constitution wasn't
you said it.
still.
You said,
I do.
you said the Constitution is not real.
And I still stand behind that. I still stand behind that. What I'm saying is, as far as the generational,
Yeah, like when
Thing-
things started
yes,
going.
that's what I'm
changing.
saying.
Why? Okay, we got the hippie movement, right? Peace, love, and drugs.
Yeah,
And I think that's what he was saying. If
Right.
you look at the 1950s and then you look at the 60s, you
Boy,
can see
day
it.
and night.
You can see a big
Day
transition.
and night.
and I feel like that's where we're at
Yeah.
right now. To be honest with you, because
You think we repeating the 60s?
I feel like the 2010s to the 2020s, to me, it was a huge difference. Like up to the 2010, I feel like things started kind of.
You may have a point.
Yes,
I mean,
to a degree. I will say it's not as
when you look at 50s to 60s,
yeah.
and then you look at 2010s to 2020s,
Yes,
I mean, holy smokes. I mean, because I was an adult before 2010. So I got to experience some of adulthood, you know, before that, you know, where I kind of saw things personally just start to decline, like tremendously again. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying, where, you know, at the end of that episode we did on New World Order, where I brought up the fact that what if this isn't New World Order, which again, I kind of think there is definitely a lot of New World Order happening, but what if we're also just repeating, what do you call it? I mean, repeating history, repeating the
Yeah.
economic whatever that term is. I can't think of
They
the
say
name of the
history
term.
repeats itself.
Right. But it's like, what if we're just in that kind of downward spiral where our morals and values have hit the toilet?
Mm-hmm.
How do we start to come back up? Because you look at the 50s into the 60s, huge difference. But it was almost like once we hit the 80s,
Oh hell!
it kind of felt like, we started on the upper end a little bit, like where we, because I don't feel like it was like that when I was a kid.
No.
Yeah.
I thought we had.
like-
I think the
Right.
90s is shout out to Bill Clinton, but I think the 90s was like the early part of my life, my middle school years, elementary middle school years. I felt like up into seventh grade, life changed, 9/11. But before that, I felt like everybody was kind of winning. I didn't feel that much. People didn't feel.
Well, it's not just about
Well, we
winning;
were
it's about
kids,
morals.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where was our moral stance in the '90s? And it wasn't like it was in the '50s.
Yeah.
But it was higher than it was in the '60s or '70s.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we went down.
Yep. And came back
we
up.
came back up, and then, like I said,
so you would say we came back up, and then like in the 2000s, 2010 specifically.
I mean,
started to go
that's
down.
just kind of when I started to notice personally that it was like, stuff started getting weird again. To me, it was like, things started coming out, and just, to me, it was like almost like everybody just gave up, like, I hate to say being a good person, but being a moral person.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a
parody movements.
yeah, I mean, it felt like a pretty good decline, and I don't know if we're at rock bottom right now.
No.
I wish we were, because it
I'm
kind
with
of.
Dustin. No, we're not.
I will say though,
I wish we were, because it's to me it's terrible. Where we're at right now is just terrible, and I couldn't imagine going much further down, because I mean, what else can you? I mean, I don't want to say that. I take it back.
Because I was about to
take
give you
it
some
back.
examples.
No, please. I don't want to hear. We're as bad as it's going to get. That's where I'm going to stay. I'm going to pray we're as bad as it gets.
can I show you an odd example between the two, like you were saying with the 1950s into the 1960s?
Please do. I'm here for it.
And then from the 1990s to the early 2000s, or mid 2000s, I should say. So in the 1950s, you had some wholesome TV shows on TV, right? Probably, the wholesome family was what you'd see on television.
Yeah.
In the 1990s, you had the same thing repeat itself with Full House, Family Matters,
Families.
Seventh
Cosby
Heaven.
Show,
Yep. That's Seventh Heaven.
Cosby
You
Show.
supposed to talk about more nuclear families.
Seventh Heaven.
Good point.
Then transitioned to TV shows in the mid 2000s. You had Jackass, Viva La Bam.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not only
A lot
that,
of drama.
but you had
70
like
show.
Modern Family. You
Modern
had
Family.
all those. God, I can't.
Early 2000s, it would have been.
I think Modern Family was more 2013.
Was it?
I think.
But I mean, I'm not saying that. So in 2010 is when I'm saying
But-
started the downward.
Right.
So
But I'm
you're
just
gonna
saying,
have-
you can see that what I'm saying. The
Due to the
comparisons
media.
are almost
Yeah, the same.
the same.
It may give you might have some. He's giving you validity to your argument here.
Oh, I know. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I'm hitting on. Is that somewhere in the 2010s, and you're completely right. I've never even thought about that. Like looking at Family Matters and Full House, and yeah, there was some weird situations in some of those shows.
But
'Cause-
they were shows that were real.
Yeah.
Like,
And I've actually gone back and we watch those shows with my kids now. Like, we don't watch, other than some, like even Blue Bloods. Like, I'll watch that with my kids because, at least shows a family that sticks together.
Right.
And I don't like watching the broken family shows, and even though my kids come from somewhat of a broken family, we're trying to change that dynamic in their head, to where, you don't have to, see that as, I hate to say not see it as normal, but see that as the way,
Right.
like it doesn't have to be like that. You can have a mom and dad that love each other and stay together and love you and keep you,
Right.
and so we try to, that's literally, we watch so many shows from the mid or late 90s, very early 2000s, just because of that reason. Because a lot of the stuff that's out today, I just call trash.
Can I blow y'all mind with something real quick?
Please.
There are
Unless it's a bad way.
oh no. Jesus.
that's a what?
8 a bad way.
No.
18.3 million children are fatherless. That comes from 2022. That's 1 out of 4 children don't have a father in the house. That means you can go to a school and be like 1, 2, 3, 4. One of y'all don't have a dad in the house. And to me, is when you take away fathers from a house. I don't care how you feel about the feminist movement, and I'm all for women having rights. You can't say enough about the father. And I give you a prime example. My daughter, sweet as all can be, she hits my wife sometimes. She has never hit me.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, dude, we do not hit. You know, she's giving her the discipline. I look at her and I say, I try me if you want to. And she'll say, no, daddy, I'm not. No hitting, no, not that. She just doesn't do it. I see her hit my wife. I said, hey, we don't hit mommy. We don't do that.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm sorry. She watched this. She'll say, I'm sorry, daddy. And I say, now apologize to your mom because you didn't hit me.
Trey, I'm sure you saw this with your stepdaughter some, but there is just a weird dynamic between mother and daughter.
It is.
I mean, it is like, there's a weird dynamic.
And that's why they need us.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, because you have to literally be the therapist.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. You
For both sides.
Exactly. Like, you have to say, you're wrong and you're wrong. And together, we need to come up with a solution. You know, one of my foster friends that I know, he told me a long time ago, he said, you know, because one of the kids that they adopted, she was older than all of my kids. And like my kids were probably like 5 and 6 when his was like 13. And he said, he looked at me, I said, how's it going, man? He's like, I'll tell you this. He said, hormones and trauma is the worst mix you could ever have. And I was like, man, you know, and I don't know, fast forward 6-7 years later, I'm living that life.
And I guess, because this may segue to what Dustin brought up to the table, is as a man, we have to prepare our families for everything, right? So you're looking at these people. I watched a lady evacuating for Hurricane Milton, and literally took her, she said, this drive that normally takes 7 hours took 11 and a half hours. As a father, if I'm in the car with my family for 11 and a half hours, you might as well, I'm in jail. That is terrible. When the woman was on Good Morning America and she was saying that, I said, bro, the husband was not in the picture.
You might as well,
and I know why.
At that point,
He's in the back. he's in the back, knocked out sleep. With like, I have
got his headphones on.
Honestly, I'm going to end up being like Chris Farley and what is it, Billy Madison, where he's driving that bus and he's like, one more of you damn kids. But speaking of Hurricane Milton,
yeah,
I mean, what you guys' stance on that? It wasn't as bad as Helene.
Natural hurricane.
You think it's natural?
Yeah.
It felt natural. I mean, the only thing that I kind of questioned about it, and you know, I know that there's plenty of scientific reasons, was all the tornadoes. Like, that was a lot of tornadoes.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Like,
did you see one of them? One of them, it had like an F3.
Yeah,
it was going across
like
the highway.
a mile wide.
Yeah, that junk was huge.
Holy smokes!
It's huge.
So, you know, I'll go ahead and preface by saying I know that Dustin's leading into the fact that, you know, we all had the episode about Helene and how we kind of think that was somewhat seeded.
Man.
A little bit of cloud seeding.
I really believe it was geoengineered.
Hey, I don't deny it.
Yeah.
And you know,
actually saying this one now.
When we were looking at what is this last Milton? When we were looking at Milton, it was like, okay, you know, they were all talking about how this was like the biggest hurricane we've had in 100 years and everything. So we were like, oh boy,
this is about to
we've got another one.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the video of the meteorologist in Florida? I think he
was crying.
He was crying
because it looked. But they showed the pictures.
This was looking like this was going to
huge.
be the most devastating hurricane Florida had seen in a really.
But it was like we were talking off mic. You know, this Hurricane Milton did exactly what every other hurricane does.
Natural.
It hit land.
And then it weakened.
It dissipated. You know, a couple degrees. You know, went from an F5 to an F3. And, you know, we don't know the full extent of the damage, but, you know, as far as the storm goes itself, it kind of dissipated, whereas Helene hit land and grew.
And
I've never seen that before. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, But from what I've seen that I can remember, every storm that hits land dissipates. And not dissipates, but it weakens.
Weakens.
So you still get the wind, you get the rain, you get the tornadoes. Like, that's normal because you've got the cool air mixing with the hot air. But that even takes you back a little bit to the ion situation where they can pump some cold air into it and kind of create. And that is facts. Like, I've seen so much disinformation over this past week because the whole cloud seeding movement has just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody's talking about it. Like, I've seen even some of the major news networks trying to say, oh, that's disinformation, and they actually go into why it is. No, it is not.
Right.
Like, literally, you can see if you like, I've seen people do it with dry ice. I've seen people do it with those flare gun things, like, to actually make it happen. Like, that exists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was even the flight path. I think I sent you guys the video where it showed the flight path went into the Helene right before it hit the Tampa area. Like, they had the whatever that website is where you can see flight paths.
Mm-hmm.
It went and flew circles inside of that hurricane area, and then came back. And I mean, it's like, you know, all these different things. And I'm not saying that that's truly how that happened, but it sure does make you think. You know, it makes you have questions like, why would we want to do that? What is the benefit? You know, and I mean, and then on top of that, you know, what a weird couple weeks.
Yeah.
So you've got, and we missed talking about it when we were talking about all the things that happened on that Tuesday. The Sunday before that Tuesday in Georgia, we had the BioLab fire that literally took us out, like in the you know, general vicinity. You know, people are still not able to go back. Like, I think the schools are still virtual and everything over there.
And then the guy just died. The dude who, the county official, I forget his name.
He was talking out about it.
And did you see what he was saying in the interview?
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't. No.
He said we need a federal investigation. It needs to be lawsuits. And then he dies.
He was doing 2 interviews, and he
go.
died before the second one.
There you go.
After he spoke out after the first one. And
somebody.
The GBI is investigating. So let's see. I don't know.
I really trust.
I have a friend.
I really trust them. Anyway,
but you know, the thing is so you had all that, and then now you've got, what is it? The Sahara Desert is flooding. Wyoming is on fire. You've got, like,
Ireland is flooding. Bosnia is flooding.
Right. Like, what in the hell is going on?
It's snowing in Africa. It snowed 2 months ago in Africa, people.
What is going on? Like,
I have no idea.
It is like...
I mean,
right,
I have an idea. I do have an idea, but
let me take a quick poll. I don't believe in official global warming.
No.
Do you?
No.
Trey?
I mean, like the global warming that we had defined it as, like, the Earth is slowly getting hotter.
When I say slowly, I mean slower than a turtle. Because I had this conversation with you before. Because I hate to be a spoiler alert. I'll cut it out if you want me to, but Trey drives an electric vehicle.
Yes.
And I told Trey, I said, look, do you drive an electric vehicle because you feel like you're saving
Absolutely
the environment, or do you drive it because it's fun?
I drive it because I don't have to go get an oil change and mission.
Can I ask you this question?
I don't drive it to save the world.
But that's the thing, is that when electric vehicles came on, it became such a, I'm changing the environment. Like, no, you are not.
If you're driving a Prius, maybe. But if you're driving any of the other cars, you're definitely helping mine.
The thing is
lithium.
It's like, you know, so many people think that they're changing that they're stopping global warming because they're such a believer in global warming. And it's like, you know, the government has turned the global warming into such a money grab.
Yep.
Because that's all it is. It's like, we're going to, you know, really, you know, save the environment. Like, no, you're not.
Right. And I would say,
no, they're not.
And I would say this: we are killing the planet. It has to be, but this is the problem. America can say, let's say we just go completely green, right?
Yeah,
we're not the biggest issue.
No, I mean, China's obviously the biggest issue. They've got like what, 10 billion
Right.
cars or something. Just
How many
And then they factories.
smoking?
Remember,
I mean-
remember the Olympics there, and they
Yes.
they couldn't breathe.
they couldn't even breathe.
I said, so like, don't make me pay for something that we're not the biggest culprit. You know,
Right.
That's like, one of your cousins do something and everybody got to get a whooping. No. I'm not doing that.
What were you going to say?
I was going to
Dustin?
ask you this question because he was talking about global warming, and then he asked you that question. So I'm going to ask you this question about global warming
Okay.
because you were kind of like
I'm on the
more,
fence.
give a
Yeah.
little bit more specifics to it.
Yeah.
Do you think that the glaciers and the icebergs melting is causing what is it?
A temperature change in the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
I think that it can, because
Is
you can't ignore the fact that I don't think they say change it like an iceberg in a cup. You put ice in your cup like that. But I think that it's something to be said about all this water that's stored up, and all of a sudden these things. Now,
Look-
I don't think, in my mind, I don't think that it's changing the temperature. I think it's going to change the water level. That then the water level may have an effect. Earth is water,
Yeah.
so it may change something. It
Yeah.
has to.
Earth is
But I don't know.
90%
I'm not. Yeah,
water?
yeah. I'm not saying like I think we may lose a little bit of Florida or some of these like New Orleans eventually. I don't think maybe we get like 80, but
Look-
I don't think that it's going to be like. I tend to think like if something is happening to the Earth, I don't know what it is per se, because I can really say some of these storms are getting a little bit more violent. But then once again, are they making them violent,
Mhm.
or are they naturally being violent?
Look, I don't feel like looking it up, but
What you got?
there's a statistic somewhere
Mhm.
about how much the Earth has actually warmed since we've been. And I was talking to you about it, Trey.
Yeah.
I think last week about when we, because when we were on the way here.
Do you want the NASA information?
I mean,
Nasty.
I'll take what. Just tell me what it is.
So, according to NASA, not a space agency, the average temperature has increased approximately by 1 degree Celsius, 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit since the 19th century. Majority of that warming happened in 1975, and recent study shows that 2003 that by the end of 2003 we rose 2.45 degrees,
So currently we're sitting at 1.3 degrees. Is that what you said?
1.8
1.8
Fahrenheit.
That's
degrees.
nothing.
One
In a-
1.8 Fahrenheit, 1 degree Celsius.
In 124 years.
Yep.
We should
Okay.
have now. The question is,
So-
okay, how much difference does a 1.8 degree make?
But here's the thing,
That is
is that
pretty
when
cool.
you look at the temperature on a daily basis, which I'm not old enough to care, you get, like when my grandparents were alive, that's what we talked about was the weather. I would call them, how's the weather down there? So I was a lot more schooled on the weather 15 years ago, but my grandparents have been passed away for a while, so I'm not as in tuned as I used to be. But every day they tell you if it's a record high or a record low. We're still having, in my opinion, just as many record lows as we do record highs. So every day that there's a record high, I'm pretty sure sometime in that time span is a record low. So if in 124 years we have increased 1.8 degrees, I don't know how much you have to increase before the icebergs melt and, like Antarctica, like shows all of its gold and everything that's actually up there, with all the resources that they have in Antarctica that they won't allow us common people to know about. Shout out to another episode once we're more researched on it. But so I don't know how long it's going to take for all that stuff to melt, but I'm pretty sure for at least the next 500 years, we're good.
So watch this. I'm gonna back you for something. Y'all tell me how crazy this is, okay? I'm doing. As you're talking, I'm looking up numbers because I'm trying to find the numbers for you. Right?
See, I appreciate you doing
And-
that because you're the numbers guy. I love it.
Yeah.
But see, this
Rain
is what
Man.
happens.
I'm too lazy right now.
This
Rain
is what
Man.
happens though when you look up stuff. This is how we're sitting here.
Right.
All right.
Because again, I just want to preface this podcast is based on questions, not 100% facts. Like we're just asking
We should
questions.
just have that just
Entertainment
randomly
purposes
said.
only.
Entertainment purposes.
Did you know
only.
this? And see, so if we're going to talk about global warming and don't talk about this, we have an issue. All right? Here we go. Earth is currently drifting away from the sun about 2.36 centimeters a year.
Wait a second. So if okay,
watch this. Watch this. Here we go. That's 3.6 inches, right? This is because the sun is losing mass due to nuclear fusion, which weakens its gravitational pull on Earth. So we got two things going to play here, right? The sun is about to new supernova.
Yeah, and I had said that to you a while back. Now, also,
just can't even.
I can't
even like, where's? Wait, hang on a second.
Now, also,
where's this website come? I need to know where it's going.
Hey, man.
The moon plays the moon plays a role in this because we're also getting further away from the moon. Like I think every year we get a little bit further from the moon, and once we get far enough away from the moon, it's going to throw off the whole.
But wait, if we're coming away from the sun, doesn't that mean we should be cooling?
Well, I was going to tell you a minute ago, to correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it feel cooler outside today than it did last year?
Feels phenomenal.
It feels great.
But I mean,
I'm thinking this. If I'm saying that, yes, to your point, if we're drifting away, we should be getting ready to freeze. But I'm also thinking this: if I'm using air quotes, if the ozone layer is depleted, then that's probably why we don't feel cool.
Trey, you got to stop using so much hairspray. You're depleting the ozone. I mean, Trey comes in here with his hairspray, and I'm like, whoa.
Looks like he's straight out of the 80s. Big hair.
I mean, all I see is those commercials of depleting the ozone. I'm just like, oh my God, the ozone's gone. Goodbye, ozone. Just gone.
We were talking about, as far as like global warming and just kind of talking about it, naturally and all that. But yeah, based off of that, where you're saying there's 1 degree difference, we should be fine for the next 500 years.
I mean, hold on. I'm just guessing. It could be 1,000.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. We are not going to be fine for the next 500 years if they keep destroying the earth like they're doing.
Well,
because they keep going on about we're going to go green with these electric cars, and that gas powered cars are very bad for the environment. There's so much pollution. But they don't tell you how much pollution they're causing by digging out this lithium.
Right.
Or they don't show you how much pollution they cause in a lithium plant,
because it's not using electric machines to.
Well, you know what's surprising to me is, and I literally saw a picture of this the other day, and I wish I had saved it so we could put it on our Facebook page. Which, if you haven't followed our Facebook page, look us up. The No Name Podcast.
No Name Podcast.
Right.
So Facebook group.
I should have saved it, but because it's not really a conspiracy, it's just hey, how about this? I don't know what it takes to make a solar panel.
Mm-hmm.
But I think solar is actually probably the least, and I may be wrong.
Okay.
Because I don't know what it takes to make a solar panel. But I'll bet solar is probably the least resource intensive opportunity to create power. So, I don't know, throughout the United States how it works, but I've seen out here where we live, they're taking up just like 100 acres and putting these like solar panels out. Why are they not doing this on the top of buildings and parking garages and stuff like that? Like,
there's some companies where you can have it done to your house.
Yeah, but I've seen this. I saw this picture, and it reminded me of that. And it's like, why are we not taking every opportunity that we create cover as a human species and putting solar panels on there to create our own power that's powered by the sun? Now, obviously, at night, you either need another source or you need the battery, which is where the lithium comes in. However, during the day, I mean, think about how much, less coal you would have to burn, or think about how much less whatever. Like, you want to actually look at being green, quote unquote green. Let's look at some of that stuff, because, your wind turbines and all that stuff, you killing the birds, you like all these other things.
Right.
It doesn't even produce that much too. Like, when you actually look at how much electricity can be produced by a wind turbine versus like solar panels, it's not even in the same ballpark.
Right.
Like, why are we wasting time and money on these wind turbines? Like,
let's really look at why we want to go green, and because Dustin, y'all are bringing out great points. I think if you're looking at the global warming epidemic, what do you want to do if let's just look at America, right? I'm thinking of American terms. If I'm American and we rely so much on the Saudis, and we illegally invaded Kuwait to try to take over some oil funds, and you know, we tried to do that with Afghanistan to see if they have one. If that's our goal, and we realize we really can't, you know, manage these Middle Eastern countries, and we can't take the oil, and we can't dominate oil. So, and then watch this. We know we got some oil on us, but we can't, you know, there's some issues there, right? That being said, well, let's just go green, because then we can threaten that market a little bit by getting our consumer, because we're the number one consumers of a lot of things. I mean, that's a strategy. Does I think does it have anything to do with the environment? Absolutely not.
But if you think about how much environment, like, you know, so burning coal, you're putting smoke in the air.
Absolutely.
So you're obviously eating away at something eventually, right? Plus you're taking up the earth's resources and coal, right? So why not just go solar? Like, again, I don't know.
I'm looking at
well, I don't know if
it doesn't take a lot, apparently, though.
Well, I don't know if you've ever looked into this, and I may have sent you guys the video of this, or I may not have, but I saw a video earlier where some, I don't know if it's archaeologists or scientists, whatever they believe, but they're looking at the ancient pyramids too, and how some believe that the pyramids, how they come to this point,
Power.
yeah. They actually use the solar power from the sun to
the general.
Yeah.
I think either you sent it or I seen it recently where they talked about how the pyramids can generate power.
That goes to show you that maybe that technology is a lot older than you think.
Oh, I completely agree. It is.
They are not going to tell you how old it is. They just want you to make sure that you believe you need them, because the more they convince you that you need them, the more power they have. And in fact, we really don't need them to survive. I mean, you look at how
you can't live
humanity,
off the grid. You can't live off the grid. It's illegal.
What is that?
Oh, absolutely, it's illegal.
What is that guy's name? What is the guy's name that invented the internet? What is his name? The one that was VP for Bill Clinton, I think. Mr. Green. What is his name?
Al Green?
Huh?
Al Green?
No,
Al Green.
Green.
I'm sorry.
That's a singer.
That's a singer. I see his name. He ran for president. He lost.
Yeah, he ran for president. What? Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Oh, God.
You threw out Green. I think Al. I knew it was Al. I was close.
Let me tell you what happens when somebody like Al Gore preaches to you about being green. He's sitting, in his beachfront estate, telling you about how the oceans are rising and everything else. And it's like, buddy, if you're concerned about the oceans rising,
stop riding on a private jet.
Right. Stop riding on a private jet. And why are you sitting in your oceanfront mansion talking about how all the houses that are oceanfront are going to be washed away? How can I sit here and believe you when you're literally doing what you're saying is bad?
Yeah.
Like, everything out of your mouth is a lie. And this is part of the reason that people turn away from saying, "Oh, I need to do." People are preaching at you. "Oh, you need to save the environment." While again, they're riding on their private jets or sitting in their beachfront estates, telling you that the oceans are rising. And it's like, well, if you're concerned about that, how much money did you waste on that big giant house by yourself? Because you're alone. Nobody likes you.
Yeah. And instead of us talking about the lies that are spewing from your mouth, why don't we talk about the kids in the sweatshop that probably made those $1,000 shoes that you're wearing?
Hello. I mean, but that's what I'm saying is, like, you get these people who are trying to tell you how to better your life and better everything about the world, and they don't even come close to practicing what they're preaching.
Absolutely.
If I'm sitting here telling you guys as a 300-pound person how to diet, are you going to take my word for it?
If I want to gain weight, yeah.
Are you literally going to look at me and say, he knows what he's talking about. I need to eat that salad. Like, I don't want to eat the same salad he's eating.
How did he say to make this again?
Right.
Extra cheese and extra dressing.
I'm going to put some brisket on this bad boy. I think
right? Okay, so, I mean, like, why would you sit there and take advice from somebody who's fatter than you on how to eat better? Why would you take advice from somebody who's literally richer than you, eating up every resource that we have as an economy telling you how to better the economy. Are you kidding me? Like, you have zero ability to sit there and talk to me about how to make things better. Like, you want me to give up stuff in my life, and you are doing, literally everything you're preaching against.
You know what that makes me think of is this week I was thinking like when I say I miss the old days, I gotta make sure I clarify certain parts of the old days. As a black person, you kind of like, hey, I didn't like all the past, right? But it is some stuff that I do like from history. I like if your commander in chief sent you out to war, they would have to be somewhere in the back.
Yes, on the horse.
On a horse.
Absolutely.
And they like, oh, snap. And they can see and they can call battleship strategy. Because my thing is this. Two things. I wish America can get back to this. Was A, you have people that actually got shot for this country. Because you can't call yourself a patriot if you're not willing to die. When I tell people, they say they. So, and when I hear people say, oh, I'm so American, and I'm like, well, how many bullets did you take for America? And I'll be honest, I love a country, but I'll be one of those people. If somebody invaded, I'm like, hey, bro, y'all got it, because whatever I'm not fighting for it like that. I'm not a very violent person. Maybe if you kidnap my kid, I turn into Liam Neeson or somebody. But then outside of
come after your family, that's a whole
that's a different story.
Yeah,
but like, if I'm thinking about, like, I hear people, and I guess this is what I'm getting to, like, connecting the dots in my head is you have so many people that have ideas for how to make America green, how to make America's economy better. But then, like you just said, they're not putting in the work or they're putting their money where their mouth is. Because I think, to your point, a lot of our issues are we listening to people who say, oh, do this, and do this. Oh, if we just did this, the economy would be better. And then you find out they don't pay taxes. You find out that they moved all their business to China and Mexico. And you're like, well, what have you done? And then watch this, they union bust, so they don't want to pay people fair wages. And you're like, bro, how are you so American? And what are you doing?
Well,
okay,
two things. It's because it's all strategy. Like I said, they're going to tell you all this stuff to make you feel like I'm going to do all this stuff for you and you need me. It's money and power. And two, also it's how American are you? That kind of goes with, are we looking at the American dream of what they've portrayed? And this is what you should be in America. This is an American. Or are we going to look at the dark, seedy side of this is America?
Look,
because not everything is going to be how you think it is. Doom and gloom.
this is a rabbit trail episode, so I'm following the rabbit trail. Trey said unions. I immediately went to the last week port.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
The dude.
My God.
The dude talk about unions who called trying to destroy America.
Let me tell you.
How much money did he have?
Look.
That's crazy to me.
Look, the fact that these guys wanted a 77% pay increase. And they, like, right off the bat before the strike offered 50% and they said no. I'm like, dude, over 6 years, if my boss came to me and said, hey, I'm going to give you a 50% pay increase.
Taking it.
Jesus.
Taking it.
Take it.
Holy crap. Like, how often in your life have you been able to make 50% more over 6 years?
At the same job?
At the same job, doing the same thing. Oh my God. Like, these guys already make more money than I do, and they're just sitting there like turning down 50%. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, it pissed me off so bad, to be honest, and then we're sitting there, because so the statistic is like for every day that the ports are shut down, we're behind a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
They went back to work though.
Oh, I know. I mean, it was like what, 3 days or 4 days or something.
They went back fast.
But look, that puts us almost a month behind. In unloading these.
And you know how we gonna get that back?
Oh, raise the prices.
There you go.
And then everybody's running out. Like literally, as soon as as soon as I heard this was going on, I'm like, crap. I got to buy some toilet paper.
Right.
COVID all over again.
Oh my God, literally. And I got on Sam's Club website, sold out. I'm like, man, I just want a pack. Like, just give me one pack. I'm like, just one. Let me make sure my butt's fresh for at least a couple weeks. Nothing.
Duvet. What's it called? Duvet?
Debate.
Debate.
Wait, Bidet.
The bidet.
Bidet, yeah.
I have a bidet, and I love my
But
bidet.
I don't.
You don't
But,
need toilet paper
but I
anymore.
would never
wish-
give my kids one because they'd use it as a water fountain.
Oh man, I'll never forget the time that my son went in there and he saw the little handle on the side of it and he just decided to start playing with it and water was spraying everywhere and I hear him screaming at the top of his lungs. I go in there and there's water spraying everywhere. I'm like, what are you doing? It was so
Literally.
funny. He was so
I
terrified.
mean, but literally during that time, we're worried about a hurricane. It's like I can't afford to have water inside my house,
Right.
and
And-
outside my house.
Right.
Like, it's just not worth it, you know.
You want to hear something strange? Or we haven't brought this up. We hadn't talked much about the wildfires going on in Wyoming at all. So apparently you have two separate wildfires going on in Wyoming.
Yep.
Over 1,000 acres is on fire. I think it's 1,000 acres that's on fire.
Yep.
They have like 1,000 firefighters fighting to try and put this out. And from what I understand, guess what? There's a mineral out there in Wyoming.
Same mineral that was in
It's
the
not
mountain.
the same. This is a different mineral
Really?
that can be substituted for what that's in North Carolina.
The lithium.
Lithium. It's a mineral that can be substituted for lithium, or they can use this mineral to make lithium. Is that a coincidence?
Not at all.
Or,
It's a coincidence that they're not talking about it.
yeah.
I mean, California, Northern
Well-
California, whatever California burns, they immediately talk about any fire that goes there. But then this fire that has reached,
Wyoming.
to me, I can see 200 acres, you may not say much, but once we get to 1,000 acres,
Yeah.
come on, bro, we need to know about what's going on.
And think about it. This kind of stuff always happens. Always happens when there's something like this going on over here. What always happens? Something much bigger happens
It's
that takes all the attention,
Right.
and nobody ever sees the other things that are going on, like the flooding in the Sahara Desert,
You know
the
what's
flooding
funny?
in Ireland, the
They-
fires in Wyoming.
You know what they said about this fire that I think it's funny? They said this fire
Started by a lightning bolt strike.
that, and they said that it's behaving like a teenager.
Oh my god!
Just being stubborn. Not funny that it's fire happening,
No.
but I'm just saying the comment.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
made
yeah.
about
Like
Yeah, but-
that's. I mean, it's just. I mean.
it. It's
Wow, man! Like to me, this cannot be a coincidence that you have all of these things happening, and it's not just here; it's happening all over the world. The Sahara Desert, Ireland, Bosnia, Africa snowing, like, and then when did the hurricane actually hit? Was it Tuesday
Milton-
or Wednesday?
was Wednesday.
Wednesday. Well,
Wednesday night.
I know it was the
Thursday
same
morning.
day. The same day the hurricane hit. I remember on my way home, I was looking at the clouds, and there were so many chemtrails across the sky on 316. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but I noticed it on my way home. There were so many chemtrails in the air on the way home.
What are y'all's thoughts on chemtrails? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about how they're releasing
particles.
particles.
Yeah.
Trey, I saw you move in a certain way. I feel like you have a strong stance on this. I want to hear, because I don't know that much about it. I've heard lots of little bits and pieces here and there,
Yeah.
but I've never researched it out, and it's something I should research out. But to me, the chemtrail. So if you look at cloud seeding, that could be chemtrails.
Yeah.
But what about chemtrails when there's no storm?
Mhm.
Like, what are they releasing?
And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, but I don't know if you see them, but I see them every single day.
Oh yeah, because so my house right now is in a flight path. So it's no joke to just go outside my house during the day and see those chemtrails
Yeah.
like literally above our house all the time. And I know you're kind of in one too over there near, because you guys got a military base not too far away from you. So I know you guys have a lot of stuff over there. And then Trey, I know your house is near the small airport over there too. So,
Yeah, I'm about both.
yeah, you got both airport, like the big airport too, but even just that small airport, like, I don't know, chemtrails are weird.
Yeah, because I heard the same thing you did. I hear at one point it's them releasing chemicals into the air. And then I've also heard from the other side point of that's also a way for them to disturb the weather. So, yeah, we said Trey had a stance on this, an opinion on this. So
There's something to it. Because why do we need to be doing it?
Yeah.
every day.
And that to me is with all the regulations that we have on cars, all the regulations we have on trucks, as far as releasing gases, right?
Right.
Everything has been regulated, but then they can. When I say they, whoever these people are flying those planes, what's that about? Delta doesn't do that. When I seen Delta planes don't do that. So why are those only those planes are doing it? And then think about it, they're high up. So what is the purpose? And just give me the purpose of it.
Right.
That's what I was looking for right now. I was like, what is the purpose of them even having these planes? And all the things I'm saying so far, it was just chemtrails are not just true. Don't believe the conspiracy theory. That's what they. Hey, this is.
Well, I mean, they're trying to do that with cloud seeding too, about how cloud seeding is fake because I don't. If we talked about this on mic, I know we were talking about it off mic about how it's been nothing but disinformation about cloud seeding, but I mean, you can literally watch like Joe Schmuckatelli on YouTube.
Schmuckatelli, I love him.
You can watch him like literally out there with these flare things causing it to rain. So I guess part of my question is too with cloud seeding, if cloud seeding is real, and again, I don't know if it's real. I haven't personally seen it. Okay. But if it's real, how come there's droughts? Wouldn't they take, that up? Now, according to what I saw from Joe Schmuckatelli on YouTube, there has to be some sort of cloud to seed, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can take the cloud and then you can seed it with whatever, carbon monoxide, whatever they're using to actually cause it to rain or react or whatever, if you can actually do that, I mean, there are clouds in the desert, aren't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So why
There's clouds everywhere?
So why is there a drought? Like, why wouldn't they just seed the clouds out there to cause it to rain? Is it because they don't want to show their hand, or what? Like, what is the reason?
Jeremy, you can't be a good person. All right, you're thinking too much like a logical good person. Hey, these people like nobody was talking about a few years ago. Even I think it's still going. I think the Colorado River is the river that's shared between the 4 states: Arizona, California, Utah, and another state in there. I think New Mexico, and it was drying up.
Mm-hmm.
And they was having issues because they're trying to figure out, well, where we're going to get our water from, because this is the main source of water. And literally, they got a rain that came through and kind of boosted the river back up or something like that.
Miraculous.
And they say, like,
wow.
but of course it caused flooding. I got to double check that too, because I know it was a really thing about 2 years ago. Because they was really putting people on restrictions for water, like not like the ones we get in Georgia.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Not those, but I'm talking about like between this time and this time, you're not going to have it.
Yeah.
So speaking of a lot of water, did you guys see that video? And I don't know if it's true. But there was some sort of dam in North Carolina that they were saying that they had to turn loose basically. And that could have been part of the reason that it flooded so bad over there. It was either there was some sort of reservoir over there that has a dam, I guess, kind of like we have here in Georgia for like Lake Lanier, which when you were talking about the Colorado River, it reminded me of, a few years ago when Florida was trying to sue Georgia over not releasing enough water. I was like, oh my God.
We'll release it when we get it, Florida.
But so that was, but I don't know if you guys saw that where they were saying, they had to like release all this water and that's what they say caused the flooding over there. But there's just, it's like we've said before, it's hard to believe anything you see on the internet anymore between AI and, trying to coax what you believe and everything else, but I did see that,
Here's what I would love to happen. This is what I would love to happen, because we say it time and time again on here. We don't know if what we're saying is true. We don't know if what we're saying is right. We don't have any proof to back what we're saying up. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is our opinions on everything. What I do want to see is if I'm wrong, or if we are wrong, and if other people who have the same thoughts that we have are wrong, then I would like for these people to actually come and do a real press conference and tell us the truth of what is really going on, and don't lie, because I can, even though I may not know how you cloud seed, I can tell when you're lying. I'm so tired of all the...
Hey. See, there's no money in the truth.
No, absolutely not.
Both of y'all right now are being very hopeful individuals.
Oh, I'm.
We're
Well,
trying
you want to
We're
leave
trying
the
to take
slide.
a page out of your book.
you-
I'm
Trey.
trying to be a realist here. and
You
just
want to
say-
use cloud seeding to help
No.
communities that need water. You want the government or them to tell the truth about when they know they're lying. We can point them out for it. It's not going to happen.
we're trying to be like
it's
you,
not going to
Trey.
happen because, and I know that because y'all say all the time, Dustin, you're so full of doom and gloom. They've been lying us to forever because they're cowards. At the end of the day, they
Well,
know how to
I don't think they're
control.
cowards. I don't think they're cowards. This is the end game. What is the end game? That's what we've been talking about, even with the New World Order. What is the end game?
The end game is to control the world.
Exactly. So how do you do that?
But they're doing it now.
Exactly. That's
Their
exactly
game plan
my
that they're
point.
doing that they've been playing it out.
That's exactly my
Forever.
point. You're exactly hitting exactly what I'm saying.
I think I said this to Jeremy when he picked me up the other day. I said the goal is fragmentation. You keep people separated and arguing about stupid issues that have no real relevance in their daily lives, and then you feed them so much information, and you'll put the truth in there somewhere, but you feed them so much information and misinformation they can't distinguish the truth. Now that they can't distinguish the truth, you know what you give them next? You give them entertainment so they can be dumb. Because if they go to searching from the truth and they happen to find it, we're going to call those people crazy.
You heard that new Taylor Swift album yet?
No.
No, I'm just
No.
kidding.
No.
Jesus.
No, I have nothing against Taylor Swift. I just don't. That sounds regular to me. I'm sorry. We probably lost 1,000 people right there. That is my fault. I tried to listen to one old song, and I was like, "What is this? This is boring."
I would rather listen to somebody stepping on a cat's tail than listen to.
She seems like she's a cool person. Seems like she doing nice stuff. Her music is
She
B at
ruined
best.
the NFL, just for the record.
Anyway.
Well, I mean,
Ruined the NFL.
Chiefs game. I don't like the
Anyway.
Chiefs anyway. So I hate seeing the Chiefs. So
bet-
when I saw Taylor Swift, I was like, hey, I get to talk about something other than Patrick Mahomes lighting us up. So you know what? Let's talk about her being in the box. Don't show the game no more because we know they cheating for them. Let's just stare at her and her red lipstick. Care about football anymore. Sorry.
Oh man. But that's what I'm talking about. Literally what I'm talking about is that they get us focused on something as stupid as that.
Yeah. Going to a football game, doing
Going
normal people stuff.
Well, I
Right.
said to you a minute ago, they've been doing this forever.
Yeah. That's
To distract
exactly-
to
that's
distract
exactly the
everybody
point.
from the fires going on in Wyoming and the floods going on in Ireland and Bosnia. The hurricane's going to get all of the attention.
And I just I wanted to. Chemtrails are not necessarily chemical trails. They are water vapor, something that happens in the atmosphere with water vapor. So that's what's the purpose. It's not even a purpose. It's this plane that happened to fly through this kind of like moisture cloud.
So it's
thing.
because the engines are burning so hot and the sky is
It's
cooler.
cold, yeah, something like that.
Okay. I get it.
And they had that many planes going at one time where there's like 8 trails at once, crossing over each other and everything.
I saw this meme the other
What? I'm just saying. I'm making a point.
You know, you made a point. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, I saw this meme earlier today. It was Nickelback with their album cover from 20 years ago. And it was
I know
like,
Nickelback.
Look at this,
Yeah, it was of the Northern Lights, right?
the Northern Lights. Look at this photograph, okay? What's up with the Northern Lights?
I want to go.
But it's here. According
No.
to everything
I
I've seen.
want to see them. I want to see the ones in Alaska. I don't want to see the ones. I want to see.
Why are they here? Is there
It's a
is there
seasonal
something
thing.
to it? It's seasonal.
It's seasonal.
So we get that down here in the South.
No, we're not supposed to get in the South. I
Okay,
mean,
but it's here.
what you mean it's here?
It's here.
You mean, like we can see it?
Yes.
No way.
You didn't go outside yesterday. Like
I live
at
in a
dusk?
city. You can't see anything. We got too much smog. I'm not seeing
You need
anything.
to get out of there.
Did you see it? Why didn't you take a picture?
I didn't need to. 500 people on social media on my friends group posted pictures of it last night.
And it was actually green and yellow.
yes.
Yeah.
Like literally like
No way!
everybody- Like, do you not have any friends that are outside of the city? Because I would have posted one for you.
I'm gonna be honest. A, I was not on social media as deep as I used to be. B, my friends are not interested in space like I am. So a lot of my
I mean, it's not being interested in space. You walk outside to go put the garbage out and you look up and you're like, oh, that's cool. Let me take a picture of that.
See, this is how I know we live in two different areas of Georgia, because the people I live around, you know what they're about? making money. They don't even like we're babyish New York of sorts, all right? And out here, that's why one of the reasons I want to move back out here is it's a little bit more slower life, a little bit more family based, a little bit more like let's be one with nature based. Because where I am now, I can see. I was outside yesterday night. I didn't see anything.
Well, the thing
2 stars.
is, you got to take a picture of it before you can see it.
Huh?
That's what I heard today. You got to take a picture of it with your phone.
Those are just the people that missed out on it. Look, those are just the people.
No, that's not here.
Well, they had to take a picture of the sky before they actually saw that.
No,
I don't think they saw it.
That didn't. No way that happened here.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't see it.
I'm telling you.
I mean,
What? Where do they live?
it has something to do
North
with
Georgia mountains.
like the sun
Here.
and I don't know.
Here in
Have y'all heard of
I'm not
NOAA?
saying where you. I'm not
Here.
saying where you live.
Yeah, here.
No way.
Hey, if you look up NOAA,
Show me another one. She. This could be Photoshop.
it's not.
NOAA.
But you didn't.
Yeah, if you look up
but you took a pic-
NOAA, they can explain to you how.
But you
happened.
said you took a picture and you saw it.
I didn't take a picture of it.
No, I need somebody. I need
somebody
one of my
told me.
friends.
Somebody
to show me.
told me that's you can't see it just going outside and looking at it. You have to take a picture of the sky, and then you can see it on.
And
your
how do we
phone.
know they didn't do something to our phones?
Yeah, you know. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. I mean,
What?
I'm telling you, it's possible.
I'm sorry for y'all, everybody. The Northern Lights is a thing for me. And that
You should have
picture,
walked outside last night.
I was outside taking the trash out. I
think
didn't
you
see
can 'em.
anything.
I think you see them often in like Scotland or something. I think.
No, so the Northern Lights goes from like Ireland, Alaska, just that whole like, upper northern sphere of the world, the actual world. So Siberia, if y'all want to go there, we can.
Oh, Siberia.
I don't know if they really is.
I like the
Siberia.
cold, but I don't know if I want to go to Siberia.
That's why I want to go. So in Alaska, you can rent igloos, and they just have glass domes, and you can just watch them.
You remember how you were saying you were up for the zombie apocalypse? You see that zombie thing I sent you?
Yeah, I'm down.
I sent that video and I was like, "It's coming, Trey."
And through the food. Shout out to Bill Gates.
Yeah.
What will happen?
Oh my
So, I mean,
god,
this
he's
one's
such
not
an
as-
evil
It's
human
not as
being.
cool, but it's there.
Let me see. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, like I mean, it's some pretty cool stuff. You know, all the stars, the colors.
That kind of look like That kind of look like sunset.
You know, whatever.
That's how. Okay, so you see that sky?
you took that,
picture?
Jeremy?
No, I didn't take a picture.
Jeremy did not participate in this.
I didn't know
He
you
knew
had to
about
take a
it.
picture.
I didn't
He
either.
knew about it and then refused to take a picture for my evidence.
I didn't take it.
But okay, have y'all ever been in New Mexico?
No.
Okay, New Mexico is one of those places. I was driving back from California. We stopped in New Mexico, and literally you can see every freaking star in the world.
I would love to see that.
And I'm driving and I couldn't stop. So when I see pictures like this, is why I have an infatuation with Northern Lights. But it's not supposed to be down here.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is like, what is causing that? Because it's not supposed to be down here. But this is the second time this year I can remember like my entire feed being full of Northern Lights in the South.
This is it the second time?
Yeah. This year.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
When was the first
a
time?
few months ago.
A few months ago. Yeah.
Like August?
Because me and my wife,
No,
I
it was
remember
during
me
the
and my wife
summertime.
were. I think it was in July, June and July. Me and my wife were sitting outside, and we were sitting in the driveway in our chairs because we wanted to see them, and we never saw them.
I watch WSTV TV every morning. They never say nothing about this.
You're missing it.
They've been talking about Hurricane Milton.
And when people get shot. So that's mostly what I get. Atlanta news is bad. This person got shot on this street. Dang, that's around the corner. Oh,
yeah,
man.
exactly. Dang. I mean,
I would like to hear some inspiring stories. Like, did you see the Northern Lights? They did talk about the solar eclipse, but that's amazing.
yeah, but that's the second time this year that's happened in the South.
And what? And did you read? You said? Can you remember what they said? What they explained? When
Has something to do with the sun. Some kind of I don't remember.
I don't like the sun right now.
It has something to do with the sun.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if you guys knew what's causing that because I'm still
Oh.
baffled by it. I don't recall this happening before, but this kind of goes back to what we were talking about all the weird phenomenons here lately of all the, you know, things happening that just are out of the ordinary. And, you know, call it what you want, you know, global warming, whatever. It's
Yeah, I was trying to
getting a little
find
nutty out there.
what I had saw earlier on it, and I just can't find it. But it has something to do with the NOAA. I know the NOAA. They what I read earlier. They explained why. their explanation, but I just don't remember what it was.
Right.
I just remember it had something to do with the sun.
I'm looking it up right now because this is bothering me.
Yeah.
Because okay, I have a theory.
Next time I hear it, I'll text you. I'll be like, Trey,
Go
just
outside
come out to my
tonight.
house.
I probably will. Don't play. I will. I am going to spend a night.
Yeah,
But
come on down.
I would stay up all night just with a camera out. Okay, so I have a theory. Right, this is crazy, Trey, okay? I tend to think that the sun is going through some issues. And the reason I seen it is a couple of, I think maybe a couple of years now. I remember NASA was saying that the sun was going through this like flare stage. And they was watching it because they were saying it was flaring and shooting off like balls of fire out of
meteors
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
and they was watching to make sure that we didn't get one because they was just so random.
Yeah.
And then now I'm reading, today, just trying to see some of the fact checking, right? And I'm seeing that the sun is actually going through some issues where it's shrinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to tell you, it may be something. I think the Earth is trying to tell us. You ever watch those movies and like the birds and the deer and everybody starts running and we're always like the last creature to know what's going on? I feel like
That's what I'm saying. Like all these weird things are going on right now.
So, my theory on the moon thing, that I don't believe we ever went to the moon.
Hollow.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
Well, bigger than that, the hollow side, right?
Yeah, I got to get into that a little bit more one day. I got to do a little bit more research on that too, though. But I don't think we've ever been to the moon. I personally don't think we've ever really been into space where we've seen it with our own eyes or anything. Now, that being said, I do think that they have the technology to see, like the telescopes.
Yeah.
If they can see all that, I do think that they can. I do. But as far as like doing any kind of experiments in space, I don't believe they have. But
wait, so you don't think Rover is really on the moon?
hell no. Rover's somebody's dog, and he said, "Let's just name that Rover."
Just go. They just got him in the Utah desert.
Listen,
I think he's in the Utah desert, just having a fun good time.
I do think that they've seen stuff through the telescopes and stuff, and I do believe that they have discovered this planet. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard of this planet. There is a planet that, if there was a planet like Earth, this would be the.
This our twin.
It is. And it's called I don't remember what it's called, Aibo or something. I don't know what they named it. Anyway, but what I was telling you earlier is something's going on with the moon and the sun, where we are getting, like Trey said, a little further from the sun and a little bit further from the moon. The moon's actually getting further from us. We're not getting further from the moon. But when the moon gets so far from Earth, it's going to send Earth into a spiral to where the world's going to end. I mean, it's going to destroy Earth. Now, I think that they are trying, and they've been trying forever, to find a way into space.
Yeah.
Because I do think the population control, this and all this other stuff, maybe they have plans that they want to go to that other planet. I don't know how they're going to be able to, because I don't even think they can get to the damn moon. If you can't get to the damn moon, you ain't going to get to that planet.
I saw this meme. Maybe you sent it to me or something. It was about, like, I believe when aliens pass by Earth, they lock their
They like to
doors.
do it. He did send it to us.
Yeah.
That crazy.
I think I was like, I saw one today too. I was like, this is me right here. It says, I think if I was to get abducted by an alien today, I wouldn't call it an abduction. I'd call it a rescue mission.
That's dope.
I mean,
and just to let you know, they did say that the reason we're seeing them is because it is, let me make sure I read this right. It is intense solar storms
that's what I saw earlier today.
caused by my favorite thing right now, the sun. Every 11 years, the sun either gives minimum or maximum activity, and right now it's giving a lot of activities that we're able to see.
Yeah.
The northern lights here.
It's just, I don't know, man. There's some weird stuff happening. It's
A lot of weird stuff happened, and you can't just chalk it up to say, man, it's just a coincidence that all this stuff seems to be happening at one time within just a few weeks of each other, a few days of each other, all over the world. Like it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence.
Oh man,
There's something up There's something very, very strange going on. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But I'm telling you, they're involved in it. And I heard the press conference that Joe Biden did where he said that, was it Marjorie Taylor Greene? He was saying she's saying all this stuff about how the government's controlling the weather. Come on. That's gotta stop. And I don't mean this in a political statement of the Democrats controlling the weather, Republicans controlling the weather. I'm not taking her side. I'm not taking his side. You all are controlling the weather.
If she dies,
be honest about it.
If she dies in a couple of years, like this weird death, I would believe.
You think it would take a couple of years?
She's too famous. I think she's too. You don't think? No. They're not gonna. No.
I don't know.
But I don't mean in a political statement. I don't believe the Democrats are doing it. I don't believe the Republicans do it.
I'm saying, but you don't have. She's too high up to have. She has the information that we're talking about,
and she's saying,
and that's what I'm saying. I don't think that she will be around because you can't.
Oh,
that's against the rules.
Oh, they don't like that. What did you do?
Right.
Now we have all that. Now we have this mess that we have to cover up. Now we have to go out here and.
Right. That's not how we release information to the public. We release it when we have something else bigger that we can distract them with.
No, it's the same thing you said with a Fight Club. What's the rule about Fight Club?
There are no rules with Fight Club.
So we're not going to release this when we want to. We don't release it. Right. Period.
Well, I don't know. As we kind of start wrapping up, I want to do something interesting real quick, and that's going to be a rapid fire session, and let's all participate. Okay. I'm going to rapid fire a couple questions. I want y'all to rapid fire a couple questions and also answer your own questions. And this is going to be a yes, no, or maybe. Okay. All right. So, do you trust the government?
No.
No.
Do you think that we went to the moon?
No.
Do you think that the sun is what they say it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, so you don't think it's a star? Or okay.
These are yes or no.
No. It's rapid. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm wrapping up here, but I will tell you, since I was the only one to answer no to that, I will say that I do think it is a burning star-ish.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think there's a little bit more to the story than what it is.
Okay.
Fair. I mean, honestly,
we're gonna have that.
There's more to the story.
Yeah.
There's and we talked about it on the moon landing episode. I think a little bit about yeah. I mean, for a minute, but all right. So, do you think that hurricanes can be controlled?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. All right. You got go ahead and rapid fire a couple questions, Dustin.
Do you think aliens exist?
Yes.
Do you think
you have to answer your own question?
Yes, I do think they exist. Do you think aliens have been here since the Egyptians?
Yes.
I don't. Well, I hate. Maybe.
What?
Well, okay. So, once
say
again,
yes.
all right. I got to say, I don't know that they're here on Earth.
Okay.
I'll ask that question next. I was going to ask that. Do you think aliens are here?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yep.
Do you think the government hides the existence of aliens?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Do you think a lot of our technology came from aliens?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Do you think some ancient civilizations that just completely vanished?
Was what? What's the? They could. Yes, they did vanish. Like, I'm asking that. I'm answering that. Yes.
Yes, they vanished. No, they vanished.
Yes, they vanished.
Yes.
Yes. Do you think that they've discovered some of these artifacts from these ancient civilizations?
No.
Maybe.
I might say maybe. I'm gonna say maybe. I can
that.
go to maybe too.
All right, it's your turn.
All right. Oh man, I think that's the kind of went on a question streak, but okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. Do you think that the government is poisoning our food on purpose?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, of course I do. Do you think that people should grow their own food in order to be sustainable, self-sustainable?
Yes, and I hate to take over, but I'm going to have to sidebar here.
Uh-huh.
I find it interesting that I think it was during COVID, people started getting in trouble for growing food.
I agree.
And giving
That's
it
the first
away.
thing that popped into my
And
mind.
that right there tells you everything you need to know about that question you just asked.
Mhm.
When you are getting in trouble, fined, arrested, whatever, for growing food and giving it away, that answers that question and the question you asked before that.
Answers the question that we were talking about earlier with population control.
Right. All right. Go ahead. Answer the question.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All
Sorry.
right.
You touched on a touchy
I
subject
did.
for me.
I'm
That's a
sorry.
touchy subject for me.
Hey.
I was so pissed when I found out that stuff was going on because people in your county were getting arrested for that.
Yeah.
People in Michigan were getting arrested.
Yo, big time.
Oh man, that just got me thinking now. I think if I had two more questions to ask you guys is, do you think they are planning to leave this planet?
Who?
They.
Yes.
Yes.
I think bona fide yes for me. All right. Oh, great question. Do you think that storms like the ones in or systems of sorts like the ones in Hawaii and the ones in Hurricane Helene are used to not only just land grab but to help control certain resources?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Well, I thought somebody was going to touch on it, so I'm going to rapid fire another couple.
Go ahead.
Is the government controlling what we see through social media and everything else?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yes.
Can I explain?
I wish you would, because I was about
Okay.
to come back to you. 'Cause what a piss poor answer.
I'm gonna say this. I think the government is behind, what we see as far as algorithms or whatever. But I think they're not controlling the propaganda parts of it.
Okay.
So for instance, I think the corporations control the algorithm, and the government pays them to kind of release certain things into the algorithm. But on a day-to-day basis, no, it's corporations for me.
All right, last question, and this is not going to be a yes, no, maybe. One sentence. Why? Why are they / whoever trying to put the propaganda in?
I think it's just their way of controlling people's minds. I mean,
Okay.
Ditto, mind control.
All right. I would say that my answer to that is because of what we've been talking about, and that's dumbing down the generation to
absolutely.
further their agenda.
absolutely. It's MK Ultra on a mass scale.
What is the agenda?
Oh,
We've been asking it. What is the agenda? So that kind of that's where I leave the rabbit trail episode.
Yeah.
what
So
is the agenda?
what is the agenda? I mean, honestly, what is it? What
Are you
You'll
asking
never
us?
know.
Yeah,
I thought you were asking the
does anybody
audience.
have any? I'm
You'll
asking
never
anybody.
know. You'll never
asking
know.
anybody.
I
I
don't
mean-
think we'll ever know.
My-
I
I
think
think
it's just world I mean, they want to
Control.
control the world.
Control. If I can tell Jeremy, if I can come here in your house and say, hey, when I come to your house, I want this and this and this, and I know you have to do it,
Mm-hmm.
that's power, bro.
When we say world control, I think that they're wanting to implement communism
Yeah.
on a worldly level,
Right.
Not a country level.
Yeah.
They want it on a worldly level.
Crazy, man. I have multiple views on whether I wish it would just go ahead and happen or just push it out a little bit longer. Just give it another 30 years or so, 40 years. I don't know. But
So I'm trying to think how old I would be.
I'm not old.
I won't be at the old to fight. I was like, yeah, I'm at that age. I was like, yeah, just let it happen.
Me
not old
personally,
enough. I don't know.
I'm afraid for the world of my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren.
Well, that goes back to why I'm like, let's just do it right now. But, I'm one of those people where I'd rather just go ahead and get it over with.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Rip the Band-Aid off and let's just see what we're working with. Because, I think a lot of us can work within, can color with inside the lines. And I think part of my biggest problem with a lot of what's going on right now, we don't even know where the lines are. Where are the lines? You tell me where the lines are, where I can color, I'll color.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I hate living that life of just not knowing. I just want to know, where's the line so I can color inside of it. Just tell me where the line is. Maybe a lot of people aren't like that.
But see, that's what they want you to do. Because then you focus on that, and you get a little mad, you get a little emotional. You might have your up days, your down days, and now you just unbalanced because you want to know. And it's like the carrot, right? Dangling carrot. Oh, Jeremy, we you know, you're right there.
Hey, pound big pharma. Everybody's unbalanced. Everybody's on drugs, baby.
$70 billion industry, bro.
Well, we thank everybody for listening this week, and I hope you enjoyed our rabbit trail episode. It's I think we stayed within the trail a little bit,
so.
But you know,
It was fun.
we might keep going with it on the next episode. Who knows? So time will tell. But we'll talk to you next week, and thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, man.
Peace.
It's out there. Read between the lines.